see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us slaves. I can feel the sunlight shining.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Brian, and today is Tuesday, May 14th, 2024, and this is episode 697 of the Lots Project podcast, and it's titled So Angry. I'll be chatting about a run-in at the gas station, keyboard warriors, a mistake at dinner, and a little bit more. Let's check out with the coffee crew, see who's hanging out in the live chat, grab a cup, and hang out for about an hour. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Pickle Pete's in the house. Here. Pickle Pete. Present. Rewilder Life, good morning. Thanks for stopping in and holding off going to work early. I mean, that doesn't sound fun at all. This sounds like a riot. So glad you chose this. I'm glad you're here as always. Jim, good morning. Good morning, Jim. I think this is 2 days in a row. Did you get put on bed rest or something? Oh no. Oh no. Did I go away on YouTube? Hold up. Anybody out there on YouTube see the comments? Hunter, if you're there on Twitch, am I still over on Twitch? It looks like I might be having issues on YouTube. Let me see if it's over here too. Interesting. Okay, you're still there. Both YouTube feeds are okay. Oh, there it is. It's back. Weird. I got a big notification that said YouTube having issues, blah, blah, blah. So we'll see. Good morning, Pip. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. Hunter over there on Twitch. There he is. And yeah, I think that wraps it up for about everybody that's in the comments so far. Thanks for checking over there on the vertical feed, and pop over here on Noster, and stream started, so we're good there. Nice. I don't know what's going on. Interesting. StreamYard just threw a message at me, and it's usually on like Instagram or something that I don't give a shit about, that I just go there because I can. And so I just clear it. But today it was YouTube, and I said, oh no, that's not good. But now it's back to a green check mark. So we will see. New bag today. What's in the cup? Opened up a bag of GSD blend, and man, I need it. Little tired this morning. Not exactly sure what's going on. I'm not like sick tired. I don't feel like, oh my God, I'm exhausted. I'm getting sick. I'm going to be down for a week, anything like that. Just been a little more tired when I woke up in the morning. So it's always nice to have a nice pick me up. It's nice to have that GSD blend in the cup. A super, it's not extra caffeinated, but super high caffeine, very light, clean roast from Food Forest Farms. It will open your eyes. It will make you have it'll make you have a good day. It'll start your day off right. It's for the people that want to get a little caffeinated up and not be all jittery, but get going early in the morning and get shit done. Thus the name, the GSD blend. I sent a description to Brian way back. This is way back. I was like, hey, I want a blend to represent my show that is for the guy that needs to work double shifts, the guy that's working overtime, the person that's burning the candle at both ends, whether that be for pleasure or pain, or just to make ends meet. And GSD was born. I didn't want the guys to be shaky. I didn't want the girls to be shaky. I wanted them to be awake, alert, and have a crisp, clean cup of coffee. And man, that's what it does. That's what it does for sure. Now, I'm gonna say, if I roll with the second French press of GSD, I definitely know I did. As opposed to some of the other blends. So you got one cup, you want to get up and going, it's definitely GSD blend from Food Forest Farms. Lots 10, 10% off, one-time coupon. Lots 5, LOTS 5, all day, every day over at Food Forest Farms, 5% off anything you order. So check it out. He's got all sorts of fun stuff over there. foodforestfarms.com, the portal to everything scrambling, which is kind of a scary portal, but you'll make it all right. Let's see what do I got here today. Pickle Pete says almost as good as a morning go. As in a morning rendezvous. He also says harp must be over, the clouds are back. Yeah, have you guys been seeing the blob? Hunter sent it to me. I think I sent it to Hunter too. For some reason I thought I sent the same video and he sent it back. Maybe it was an updated to the video that I sent, but really interesting dude on TikTok that talks about this blob thing going on down by Antarctica, causing just an absolute fuck ton of flooding in Brazil. That's some crazy shit, and I think it's I think people are leaning towards it's generated, it's man-made, and the more I look at it, the more I wonder if it's like pole shift stuff. Like this is what happens when the poles start to shift, because we don't know. We weren't here. We know they shifted at one point or more than one point, that they flip-flopped at more than one point, but what happens prior? Like, what are the signs? What are the things that lead up to it? I don't know. I wasn't here, so I'm just speculating. But this weird, the guy says that, you know, it's picking up on radar. Is that radar, Hunter? I was trying to figure out what he was looking at. Was that radar by chance? Sonar, whatever. He was picking up wave heights, but then they were saying that the boats in the area were not seeing the same things. So the data, the feedback from whatever mechanism they were using to see these waves. Oh, it's a wave tracker. Okay. Wave tracker, but I mean, it's obviously remote. Or is it? Are those buoys? Are those physical buoys that they're reading, or is that some sort of remote system? I don't know how it works. I just started following up on this guy as you kind of sent it to me a couple weeks ago. But it's very interesting. There's like all sorts of these random. Well, it's not random. It's in one spot. Okay, so they're attached to buoys. All right. There's been these increases, these anomalies in this area around an island that's the north of Antarctica, and all of a sudden these huge blobs of super high activity, like 80-90 foot waves and this and that and the other thing, start emanating from this one point, and it basically turns the whole picture on the wave tracker black. Like you have calm, and it's just like a radar map with like the intensity of a storm. These are like huge waves, but they're saying that the boats there aren't seeing anything. So this guy that Hunter sent me a video, he's speculating that it's electromagnetic or some sort of energy that's causing these things to show this, because they do it and then it's like instantly drops off to nothing, instantly drops off to 20-30 feet, normal size waves, things like that. And it's fascinating. It's right in line with Brazil, which is completely underwater from what I understand, unless that's all AI generated or frequency. Yeah. Frequency. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty crazy. But I had this just like, I was like, what happens when the poles shift? Like, first of all, what causes the magnetic poles in the earth? Like, has anybody gone done a deep dive on that's in the audience that listens, because that's not something that I don't think there's anything that I've really dug into and really got a huge understanding. Hunter says, I don't know how much of the flooding in Brazil is waves, but if it's not waves like that, I think that's his whole point, is that these readings might not necessarily be real waves, that these readings are frequency possibly causing weather patterns and dumping torrential rains on Brazil. I think that's what he was getting at. Maybe not. I don't know. But these weird anomalies down there, it seems like something's wrong. Something's amiss. We better get Scooby-Doo and the mystery machine down there and get them floating around in the ocean down there and see what they can find. So we'll see. We'll see what comes of it. It's been a while. It's been on my radar for a while. Pip says it's Russian wave generators. Maybe. Maybe. The weird part is there's no reports of the waves actually being that big. From eyes. Dixon says, morning kids, when the poles shift, the strippers fall, I think. Yeah, the poles usually shift because the maintenance guy at the strip club doesn't know how to use anchors when he puts in the pole, and they hired Betty Sue. Good morning, Backwoods Butcher. Good morning. I didn't see any missed calls from you yesterday. Not that I could have answered anyway. I was out at Delinquent Scully all day long. Pickle B says he's going to grab Scrappy Doo and a sailboat, and they'll go figure it out. Grab a schooner instead of a sailboat. Grab a schooner. I was out at Delinquent Scully all day yesterday. No service there. It was a great day. I'm going to start being out there 3 days a week, every week, most of the day. And then I was waiting around yesterday for a special guest. Carrie Brown from Strong Roots Resources came out and hung out for a bit. We went for a walk around. He scoped out the 4 spots that we decided were our final 4 contestants for our cabin site. Narrowed that down to 1, I think, pretty much, unless we find anything unusual or surprising when we clear out the rest of the brush. Because, yes, we are pretty much moving into a jungle, and we need to clear some stuff, some overgrowth, some things. You never know what's buried down at the bottom, but barring any huge surprises, I think we have our spot. It's going to be really it's a pretty sweet spot, and we were lucky enough that Carrie also liked the spot that we liked the most out of the 4. He picked the same one we did. Like we were okay with any of the 4, but there was one we really liked. And I brought Carrie in just to take a quick peek. I understand that he's not all-knowing psychic or medium or something like that, but just a general glance and nothing, and see if there's anything out of the ordinary that he put eyes on that he was like, yeah, I wouldn't. He does a lot of permaculture design. He does a lot of property design. He's done a lot of property maintenance and been on a lot of different sites and saw a lot of mistakes. So I thought that it would be a decent idea to get a second set of eyes on it, and we both concurred on the spot. So I was happy about that. He also I pitched the nursery design that I have there. So right now we have a little area that I started to use to propagate some plants. So we're going to propagate plants there. We're going to use them to propagate throughout the whole property. And then also for sale at that point, if it comes to that, if we're ready to do that, if they've grown in and we've used what we wanted for the property, we'll start a revenue stream there, selling whatever perennials that we've started, that we've been growing. So I picked a small spot. Carrie sent out some elderberries, some yarrow. The yarrow is really liking the spot we put it in. Elderberries are really liking it. Chicken Hawk Farmstead, he sent some Jerusalem artichokes with Tim from an event. We got them in the ground. Those are going gangbusters. We got a bunch of other stuff. We got some comfrey right there. We got some spiral willow. And they're all started in this kind of small area. Well, when I started the area, it felt big. And it is big enough for what we have there, what I was intending to put in the ground when I picked the area. But as I've been out there more, and this is the fantastic part about the property, and have been walking it and working on it and using hand tools, working on it by hand, cutting paths, and just being as much on the land as possible, we have seen kind of not everything, not even close to everything, but we've seen a lot of different structure. We've seen a lot of different, like the paths we're cutting in are presenting themselves. If you really spend enough time someplace and don't fuck with it too fast, it will tell you where things should go. It will tell you where the paths should go. It'll tell you where you should put different features. And I've been observing this area that we're going to call the nursery, or it might come up with a different name. Who knows? But it's basically right now it's a plant nursery. And the way it's situated is at the bottom of a big slope. The slope was kind of clear cut. There's some small trees on it, and there's old growth trees that are super tall, but they're pretty thin. They're thin enough that dropping a few really changes the light aspect. And then there's a creek, a spring fed creek that runs kind of through it, right next to where we planted the elderberries. And that was really the goal with planting the elderberries. There was, it's close enough to water. This one stays, this part of the creek, and I'm talking creek like it's a trickle, depending on the time of year. It is runoff. It catches the water runoff, but it also is a seeping spring that doesn't dry up in the summer. So I figured that there is at least a little bit of moisture in the soil there. So in the depths of summer, if the roots are down in along the bank there, it'll gain water. So I skip having to figure out how to water this stuff. And eventually we were planning on grabbing some of the water, doing water catchment, doing rain catchment to use in the nursery, the quote unquote nursery. But most of these plants are going to be hands off. It's going to be the water is going to be needed while we're establishing them. And then we'll make them hardy. The ones that survive. The ones that don't like the climate, then they die. And that's just kind of how it works. Strong plants, strong trees. Well, as I started looking at the area, we were going to put a campsite there. We were going to have this little elderberry system going on with some comfrey and the yarrow and a few other things. And I looked at it, and if you go over the creek a little bit, and I'll get pictures of this when I get cleared out, before and after and things, but if you go across the creek, there's a pretty decent sliver of land that's all covered by deadfall. Just complete mishmash of deadfall. But I started poking around over there, and it's really nice soil. Like, it's the soil that's eroded off the face of the hill, off all the hill above it, has all kind of settled down in that fertile crescent down in the bottom around the creek. And then it's also spilled over on the other side of the creek, and the soil is great. Like the plants I put in there just are loving it. So I talked to Carrie and I said, well, what if we nix the campsite in this spot, and we open all this up, we drop a couple of these trees and use this whole area as a propagation area. And then we'll have a significant amount. We'll really be able to do a significant amount of feedstock for the property for sale, and really get things established and have them be able to be spread out and be able to bring groups of people in and look at the stuff we're growing and how we're doing it and why it's working or not working. And he said, yeah, we're going to be careful around the banks of the creek. He warned against bringing making he wasn't real crazy about equipment in there, and that wasn't even in the plans. This is going to be all hand cut in. All the deadfall is going to be hand cleared out. The brush is going to be beat back with a machete, a weed eater. We'll get ground cover in, but yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. I think it'll probably end up being, I want to say, maybe 75 yards by 75 yards. Maybe. Or so. I don't know. It will be an odd shape. It'll be like a amoeba, basically following the edge of the creek. So it'll be fun. And then all of that stuff is going to be used to line the paths on the property. It's going to be used to line the campsites and the cabin sites. And like I said, for sale, it'll be great. It'll be fun. It'll be fun for sure. We found some really cool stuff while we were out there. He found a species that he didn't. Chris Dixon says yards. Yeah, it's big, dude. It's big. We're not going to do something small. Because if we open it up and we let it go, it'll be right back to where it was. So we're not going to come in and do any earthworks. I already cleared the small area that I planted all the elderberries in. It was 25 by 20 feet. And this is going to be like, that's a little drip in the middle. We'll be consuming a whole campsite that I had already cleared out. Hunter says, I just pictured you wearing a backpack full of clover seed leaking out while you're just wandering around. That might not be very unrealistic, Hunter. Like your imagination might come true, because that's not a horrible idea where I'll be. But we poked around and found some really cool stuff. Carrie pointed out some trillium on the property, which is super cool. He informed me, don't cut that off because it takes 7 years for that plant to get to that stage, to where it's flowering, the cycle on that. And I said, don't worry, dude, that stuff is all over this property. And he just looks at me and shakes his head and he says, the abundance on this 15 acres, because it's just been left alone for however long since they clear cut it, and it's naturally just come back and filled itself in with the things that need to be there and want to be there and do well there. It's amazing. It's so full of so many different species. The blackberries are going to be absolutely insane this year out there. As we were walking around the property, we were looking at all the bushes that set fruit. Holy crap. Like, we should have a blackberry picking party in Tennessee, because it's going to be a lot. I also was able to sit at the cabin there. I had a couple downpours where I stopped working and jetted up to the cabin, sat on the porch and watched it rain, which was really nice. But as soon as Rewilder Life says mead, yeah, I mean, getting to a lot of them will be tough. Like, I can see them everywhere, and there are big patches. Mike's Homestead, so is this campsite down on the first side? Yes, the campsite you cleared out. The campsite you cleared out around the big tree, that's going to go that whole area, leaving a buffer to the easement road, that whole area back to where that creek crosses, and then even beyond that to where the hill slopes up. Yeah, that's going to be the whole nursery area down there in the bottom. You started it, man. You started it for sure. And your comfrey's down there along that creek bed too. Rue Other Life says leather chaps and a machete. Yeah, that's kind of how I clear them right now. It's machete or the extendable handle Fisker loppers. Those work really well. So it was great. And then he also found some, what was it? Red ring milkweed. Red ring milkweed, which is something that he hadn't seen. Chris Dixon says the DG Brewery, all the hipster brews you can think of. Hipster. All the homeless brews you can think of. No, I would you really call me a hipster? Really? Mike's Homestead says, I wonder if it floods. It doesn't. It doesn't. That creek bed. So I was there right after all the snow melt came down off that hill. I was there right after, right after a super significant rainfall. And there are some soft spots down on the other side, and we're gonna do some more aquatic liking plants down there. But there are definitely a ton of moist but not flooding areas, and then there's some higher ground there. That creek bank is pretty wide. It would take a lot of water to hold that, and where it dissipates to, there's like nothing backing it up. So there is a flood where it kind of floods out further away from the cabin site from where you were. So there are some pretty thick water spots, but I think we're good. And if not, we'll start over. Pickle Pete's wondering about owls and hawks. I haven't noticed. I haven't noticed much, but I did listen to a group of hen turkeys yapping back and forth. And at first I thought they were guineas. I thought that somebody's guineas had escaped. And then as I sat and listened a little bit, it was definitely hen turkeys trying to get back together. They had gotten broken up and we're calling each other back in. It was very distinctive. It was exactly what I was trying to mimic when I was turkey hunting in the fall. So that's cool. Definitely wild turkeys there. Deer, rabbits are hanging out in my Jerusalem artichokes. Definitely some rabbit poop there, and woodpeckers, and man, the wildlife there. I wouldn't be surprised, Pete, if there's owls and hawks. So anyway, that was the trip out to Delinquent's Gully. Turkey means low coyote pressure, or a lot of turkeys. Jim says turkeys mean low coyote pressure. Yeah and no. Yeah and no. So that was the trip out there yesterday. On my way out there yesterday, I stopped at the gas station. I was on my way by, and my stomach, all of a sudden, I was like one of those hunger pains where you're like, oh man, if I don't eat, it's just going to be a miserable day. Which it doesn't happen all that often, but it's been happening more lately, which is weird. So I swung into the gas station to get something that I'm sure was super healthy for me. Greasy gas station food, just something to get in my gut. And so I parked my truck, and the gas station, where you park is perpendicular to a road. So the gas station's the parking lot is maybe a car and a half deep. Who others have his blood sugar issues from all those candy bars? Maybe it really might be. So it's like my truck and a half deep. So when I pull out, and I just naturally, because my truck has like zero turning radius, when I pull out, I almost pull back out into the street. Like there isn't a whole lot of cranking it real tight with my truck. And so I go inside. I grab my sandwich. I brought a little coffee with me. I go out to the truck and I start unwrapping it and I take a bite. And I look behind me, and this dude pulls up behind me in like a tractor trailer with a log hauler trailer behind it, a semi tractor and a log hauler behind it, big truck. A guy had pulled in next to me. He was parked so right. The first parking spot is like right at the front of the building, so he could back up and like go forward in front of the building and escape. I went to back up and I was like, shit, I can't make this shit. I can't crank this enough. I'm going to hit that trailer. So I pull back in and I try to go the other way and it wasn't working. I was like, this is bullshit. Whatever. I put it in park. I was just like, I'm going to eat my sandwich. Hey, good morning. Take the ride. Thanks for swinging in. Appreciate it. So I take a bite of my sandwich. I'm like, I'm going to just sit here and wait for this asshole to leave. And so I had my window down. I was sitting there waiting for him. And he's taking his sweet time there. No one can pull into the parking lot. I can't pull out of the parking lot. I mean, I could have dicked around and Austin powered it out of there and whatever. But I was like, he's not going to be that long. He just ran into the gas station. So I sit there for a couple minutes and I'm eating my sandwich. And finally the dude comes out and he's all like, yelling or talking to the person working inside. And he starts walking by my truck and he kind of looks at me and you know when you see somebody and you kind of lock eyes and you feel awkward if you don't say hello. I wasn't real happy with the dude, and so he locks eyes with me. 10-point turn, yeah, that would have been it. In my F-250, like it doesn't crank. We crank the wheel, it goes. It's like a big fucking arc. And so I said. He's like, hey, how you doing? I said, I'd be much better if you didn't block the parking lot when you park your truck. You know, you could have parked like at the beginning of the parking lot and not blocked anybody in while you went in to do your stuff. And he looks at me and he goes, what? You need me to back it out for you? I was trying to be nice. I was just trying to be nice. And literally I almost came out of the truck at him. Like I was, if we were still in Minnesota and I hadn't really lowered my stuff, if I hadn't really calmed down a little bit, I probably would have been out of the truck, like in his face. Or I would have put it in reverse and just smoked it right into his fucking truck. But I looked at him, I said, no, I need you to be not such a fucking cocksucker and park in a right of way. And he looks at me and he's like, well, it was only a minute. I was so mad. Rachel says you must have been sitting and he didn't see your Sasquatch self. Yeah, I was sitting in the truck for sure. Oh. Take the ride says, good thing you weren't listening to Limp Bizkit. Give me something to break. Yeah, I don't listen to anything in my truck anymore. Pickle Pete says he spent your minute freely. Yeah, he really did. He really did. I was happy for the old guy that was walking with a walker where he was able to just back up slightly and go in front, because I really didn't want to watch the shit show of that guy, because he was definitely leaving. Like he rolled into that truck and he was like, oh, I'm out of here. And I'm like, what the hell? So I don't turn the backup camera on. I install the backup camera. And like I use my mirrors. I have an idea how long the truck is. I've driven it for a few years now. I've had it in some tight situations. We've had it with the camper. I have a general idea, like a feel for how long the truck is. When I had my service van in Minnesota, when I was working in gas tech, we didn't have backup cameras on a Transit. So I got used to backing up blind. Got really good at it because I was backing up to like manholes and things to block traffic. So you had to kind of be accurate. I plugged in the backup camera to see if I could make it. And there was no way. There was no way. It would have been at least 2 or 3 turns, at least 2 or 3 attempts to jig it around. I'm like, by the time I dick around with that, the guy's going to be out here. And he probably was. But I'm like, what a cocksucker. Like, what makes you think that that's all right? Like, I could see if he couldn't see that he was blocking people in or whatever, but there's no way he rolled up to where he parked and didn't go, huh, there's 2 big pickup trucks sitting there, and I wonder if they're going to be able to get out. So I went out to stand in the woods. And being in the woods made me feel better. Being in the woods dropped my blood pressure. Being in the woods was the cure to that horrible moment to start my day. Oh, so yeah, that was an interesting experience in the morning. I usually don't experience that kind of stuff around here. Everybody around in this area, everybody, barring a few, are very considerate. Chris Dixon says he's obviously local and does it all the time without thought. Right, but that's the anomaly. It's like 99. I was going to say 9 out of 10. I would say more like 99 out of 100 people would have parked back just in case some of those people had to leave. Like, I feel that around here is much more considerate. And constitutional carry might have something to do with that. Pip says that reminds me of the dealership HR lady who blocks my shipping and receiving area because she's too lazy to walk from the employee parking lot. Well, and that's the thing. Like, the owner drives a very recognizable car. Both the owners drive almost the exact same car. And they park way down by the dumpster. If he had parked just at the other edge of the parking lot, he would have had to walk an extra, 30 feet ish, maybe, to let, like, I didn't even need him to be where I could back out completely in the parking lot. I would have been completely fine backing out past his truck and backing into the street. Just don't park directly behind me. Jim says, Pip, how much can your forklift lift? Enough. Did my what? My woosaw give me a tip for the situation? What woosaw book? Don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. The Daily Stoic. Yeah, the Daily Stoic would have made me contemplate what the best actions would have been. And mine were, the guy engaged me. I was gonna let him go. Like, I was just gonna let him walk and just go on his merry way. He looked at me and gave me the head nod. He engaged me and asked how I was doing. I didn't go out of my way to talk to the guy. Let's just say that. And I probably failed. Marcus Aurelius would have been disappointed in my actions. It happens. It happens. Hey, Pip, what do you think the Daily Stoic or Chris Dixon? I know you're heavy into it too. What do you think would have been the best reaction to that? Jim says I'm glitching. Oh, that's not good. Chris Dixon, we get a pile of truck traffic here that parks on the street, so I totally get your frustration. Some truckers are complete boneheads. Yeah. Pip says I've been tempted, but the box of nails may fall out of my hand behind her tires. Pip says, officer, he started it. He looked. Jim adds in, he looked at me. Backwoods says, I've had a handful of those, but I have always have the girls with me, so I have to keep it calm. Why are you teaching your daughters to be pussies? Having your daughters with you is the perfect reason to let the sons of bitches know they're in the wrong. Pip says the Daily Stoic said, I'd be fine if I were down the road a few minutes ago. Oh, that's what I should have said. No. I gotta move on. So something that I've had on my list here for a while that I haven't really got to, that Jim says he's teaching his daughters not to do stupid things in stupid places. One thing that's been on the list. So anybody listening, how is your feed, your social feeds or your news feeds or whatever you could gain your information? How has the political climate been? Mike Somstead says it's embarrassing to get your ass kicked in front of your kids. Rewilder like wants to know I'm getting pigs to get rid of these guys. Oh, and Kyle doesn't want to get arrested and leave his kids in the grocery store parking lot. The butcher's wife would be absolutely ecstatic about that, I'm sure. Honey, I'm in jail. Where's the girls? Oh, I just left them at Piggly Wiggly. Cashier on Sevens watching them. Okay. Rewilder Live says I see very little politics because I don't read it, so my algorithm doesn't show it to me. Okay, and that's what I'm wondering if it is for me at this point. I've consciously checked out of the whole thing. I kind of keep tabs on it enough just to know what shit show's coming. I don't participate. I don't try not to comment on anything. I try not to get into it too much. Chris Dixon says we're not allowed news on the social feeds and communists can't. I found that out just for the first time while Tim and Becky were here. I asked if somebody saw I think it was Becky, if she saw the news story on Facebook. It's been all over Facebook. She's like, yeah, we're not allowed to see news on Facebook. And I was like, wait, what? And she told me the whole thing. And I was like, holy crap. But anyway, I haven't seen a whole lot of Orange Man versus Sniffy Joe. So I don't know if it's ramped up or not, but the other day, for some reason, I was on Twitter posting I was on Twitter. I was posting my daily link to my podcast. I posted over there. There's some other things I post there because I get some decent engagement. And I said I saw an Arkansas MMA fighter said that he beat Ben Shapiro's ass recently. I'm pretty sure Kyle's daughters could beat Ben Shapiro's ass. Like, great. Big accomplishment for him. That's really going to take his career a long way. Show how tough he is to beat a Ben Shapiro. So I was on Twitter, X, I guess. And I was looking at the trending topics they have on the side there. If you've been on X or Twitter or whatever it's called. I believe that it's X, formerly known as Twitter, is what you call it. So why did we even change the name? And one of the trending hashtags was Hank Hill. And I didn't know if it was like Henry Hill from, what was that, Goodfellas? Is that Henry Hill? Goodfellas? Or Hank Hill from King of the Hill. And much to my enjoyment, it was Hank Hill from King of the Hill. But what I saw when I clicked on it, what I saw was the most absolutely hate-filled comments, the anger that the people had on these posts. I was like, holy shit, is this what people see on their social media if they're wrapped up in the politics thing? So what happened was, it sounded from I couldn't dig too deep into it because I was just like, I can't do this. But from what I understand, there was a picture of Hank Hill from King of the Hill, and somebody posted it, a meme, like said something about MAGA, and he would definitely be a Trump supporter and all of this shit. And both the left and the right just came unfucking glued. And they were saying things about how Hank Hill could never like Trump because he hated George Bush, and like they were referencing the show, so that was at least okay. They were referencing his character traits from the show, but after they would mention it, the absolute hate for the people and the anger that's in these people, like, I don't get it. Like, how are you that angry at someone you've never met, you've never talked to? Like, they saw one post by the person and absolutely it ruined their day more than the dude parking behind me. That's for sure. Chris Dixon says, and when it starts, it just snowballs because people are sheep and fall in line with the rest of the dumb fucks. A la the Northern Lights. Like, how many pictures of the Northern Lights do we need? Like, seriously. Pip says Hank may have been an anarchist by now. I'm pretty sure Hank was an anarchist. He just didn't know it. All he wanted to do was sell his propane and propane accessories. Pickle Piece says Chicken Joe has TDS and she has the same craze when Elon comes on the news. It's bad. So, has anybody with TDS actually met Donald Trump? Hunter says, oh yeah, the lights. Is that it's still on my feed. It's still on my feed. Jim says, I haven't seen any Northern Lights pick. Who's got good ones? If I see one more picture of a fucking pink sky, I'm just gonna lose my shit. Pickle Pete says they hate the idea of Trump. That one, I mean, that's fucking great. But the people calling him a racist, like it's unreal. The first of the thing is how the people calling him a conservative. I can't even go down this shit. What do you want me to record, Hunter? Oh, if I see one more picture of a pink sky. Pickle Pete says, give me a pink sigh over a pink sky. You've seen one, you've seen them all. Backwoods says people calling him a racist have never met a real racist. Yeah, I mean, the fact that the NAACP is giving him awards and things. Like, I'm not a Trump supporter. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I think they're all scumbags. But really, Mike's Homestead's looking to get kicked out of the Telegram group. Hunter says me losing my absolute shit over anything could go viral. Rewilder Life says vaccines and bump stocks. Not sure how I guess he's conservative. I mean, and like the multiple times he's cheated on his wife with hookers. Rewilder Life says her photo was amazing, and it was. She posted the picture of the Sasquatch releasing some northern lights. It was pretty good. Hunter says it could be my next stick. My blood pressure can't handle that. I would have an aneurysm if my social media blowing up depended on me losing my mind or shit. Like, the content would be never ending. All I would have to do is start scrolling Facebook for a little while. But I don't think my heart and nor my arteries or anything could handle it. I would, yeah, no, can't do that. I'm trying to go the opposite direction, man. You're trying to put me in the grave. Whew, it wouldn't be good. Corey knows. She has to calm me down sometimes. She just pops out and says, I can't even walk through the kitchen without losing my shit. That's the problem. The dog food, the slobber, all of it. Like, I'm on edge. So anything where I'm purposely trying to do this is not good. Not good. Take the ride. Everybody should go follow him just for this joke. He says, I went to the doctor the other day. He said, your sugar is too high. I said, nah, sir. She's been 3 months clean and sober this week by the grace of God. That's fantastic. Rewilder Life says grumpy old man level. What would you say, Corey? Am I grumpy old man level? She says I'm close. Get 3 St. Bernards in a camper with you and you'll find out. Pip says, yeah, after a few hours without a phone to tell me to be angry while playing with the pew-pews, but not bad. For sure. So when I go to Delinquent Scully and work on the property, I have no service. I literally turn my phone into airplane mode. Otherwise, the battery dies, like, because it's searching for service. No service. And it's different. It's different. I leave there and I can definitely tell the benefit of not having my phone. I've also realized how many messages and distractions I get on a daily basis when I drive out of there. And I don't have very good service all the way home. Like, I don't really have service in Tennessee unless I'm in one of the larger populated areas, not anywhere near my place that I'm staying or Delinquent's Gully. But I'll catch pockets of like 2 bars, 1 bar of 4G on my drive home. So when I'm leaving, I usually take and I take airplane mode off, and I send Corey a message, pending message. It'll sending until I hit one of these pockets. But then my phone sits in the cup holder of the truck, and it beeps and buzzes the whole way home as I'm getting all the messages from Telegram, from emails, from whatever source. And I go, holy shit. And the one day I put it together was every time that happens, I stop what I'm doing and look at it. So I've made a conscious effort to stop doing that. I've made a conscious effort to let them build up. It's okay. They'll still be there when I'm done. And I realize that from being out there with no service. But man, your phone makes you angry if you let it. And that's what they're designed to do, not the phone itself, but that's what Facebook's designed to do. That's what Twitter's designed to do. Do you know what's not designed to piss you off? Noster. You follow whoever the hell you want there and not follow whoever you don't want. And they don't put suggested posts on your feed, and they don't put the things that you don't follow, and you don't go and follow 15 people and you never see anything from them. You follow who you follow, and it shows you who you should follow. And if you don't like them anymore, if you don't like following them anymore, you don't like what they have to say, you just hit unfollow or block or delete. And then you go find somebody else with cool and interesting stuff to follow. And you stimulate your brain when you look at social media instead of devolving it into anger and angst and schizophrenia. Pickle P says, mine goes into the giant remote speaker, only check on water breaks. Let Chicken Joe know I'm not dead yet every once in a while. And that is the one thing that I do kind of wish I had service there, was just to let Corey know I'm all right. But we've come to a system that we rely on. Dixon says, what's the emergency call out procedure at Delinquent's Gully? It is, at the moment, it is waiting. It's time. It's not showing up at home. As we move out there, we'll end up having the same as we have here with our Starlink. But we will probably, as we start working out there, as we start doing more stuff, and I'm very careful of what I do when I'm there by myself. It's very conscious decisions. And I know that doesn't make up for accidents and everything. I understand that. It's just the kind of what you got to do at the moment. One of those. We will end up getting like a prepaid cell phone that has service in that area. If not, just have to send out a text or whatnot. Pickle P says, what's a good solution? How many miles to the trailer? It's like 16 miles to the trailer. We have friends in the area now. Like, we were always worried before we met somebody here, when I was out there working, if something happened to me, Corey, I would have the vehicle also. So she wouldn't be able to do anything. And we talked about calling the landowner to get a ride out there. Luckily it never happened. But now at this point, we've met enough local people. We know enough people in the area, and definitely know people that would drop everything to come out. Jim says, is there a high point for a booster repeater? Maybe. I think at the point that I would go through the motions to do that will already be out there with our Starlink. By the time I went through the motions of doing that. Good morning, Carrie. Strong Roots Resources. Thanks for stopping. He says, weird how I'm up earlier when I'm on Central Time. Or you're up at the same time and the time just changed. You're gonna get so much more done today. You're gonna get home and be like, wow, it's really late. How was the night out there, Carrie? Did you guys get any storms? Did you get any storms? Did you get any storms rolling through? We had a couple of boomers overnight, and when I got up, I thought about you. I know that one side of the front side of the cabin, the overhang isn't quite enough. That's something I got to get changed out for Tim while he's up in Canada. But yeah, emergency protocol out there is basically we have times. Rain on the metal roof, very loud. I can, yeah, for sure. But good to be dry, for sure. John Palmer, good morning and good day to you. Jim says, so you're going to be the Wi-Fi hotspot. Most plans are to make it a kind of a digital retreat. We'll need internet for Corey to work until she doesn't have to work anymore. We'll need internet to do our content and things like that, videos and and all of that, all the work for the property, promoting the property. But I think the majority of the property, as far as when people are using it beyond Tim or ourselves, we're going to try to keep it no signal. There's something about it. There's definitely something about being out there and not having signal or very limited signal that makes you, it forces you to enjoy the surroundings around you, or at least notice them. And it's kind of like the back to the Northern Lights thing. I don't need Facebook to tell me that the Northern Lights are pretty. I also wish people realized that if they just looked at the grass or the trees or the birds or the bees or whatever the hell you want out your door instead of your screen, there's a bunch of beautiful shit every day. You don't have to wait for a CME and the Northern Lights to flare up and everybody go out and stare up at the sky with their fucking phones on phone picture mode to make it look better. That was my favorite. Can't quite see the Northern Lights? Edit your phone filter. You'll be able to see them and take awesome pictures. What the fuck is that all about? I don't know. Walk outside. Walk up to a tree and look at the bark for a little while. Not like look at it. Like, oh, let's bark on a tree. Like, go up and like really get close and look at it. Maybe on a dead tree. Look at everything going on. I mean, that's just an example. There's millions of things all around you. And you don't need a phone filter to see it. You just need to look. But it's not quite as pretty as purple sky. There, Facebook. Tell everybody to go look out at fucking nature. How's that, Hunter? Not quite far enough yet. Hour and 4 minutes. Gotta wrap up. Was there anything here that is very pressing or can't wait till tomorrow? I think tomorrow I'm going to talk about the U.S. bailing out Japan. I read that this morning. Hey, Jim, have a great day. I appreciate it. I saw that headline this morning. I started reading the article. John Palmer says he didn't see any sky color. Yeah, it was black with white dots. Just like normal. Anyway, guys, we're gonna wrap it up here. I appreciate everybody listening. If you enjoyed the show, it's always free to hit that like, share, and subscribe to return value for value. Please consider joining one of the YouTube membership tiers or listening on any value for value platform like Podverse or Fountain.fm, or catch the show over on Noster, live stream on Noster every morning, 6 a.m. Central. Or you can check out the lotsproject.com or comfreyroots.com for information about me, recommended products, partner companies, discount codes, comfrey roots for sale, and all sorts of other information. It's Tuesday. Is it Tuesday, guys? It's only Tuesday. Holy crap. Make it an awesome Tuesday, guys. Catch up back up with you on Hump Day.